Alright, so this weekend I actually got into the garden and I was able to plant stuff because it's been raining for over a week. It doesn't seem like we've had much of a break, and so this was it. We finally got some sun today. So over here we got some lavender, good for the butterflies. Got some blueberries. I didn't get any fruit on these last year, so I'm hoping that we're going to get something this time. And I can see here, got some nice flowers coming in, so hopefully that'll mean something good. These are strawberries, 2 pots that I had. Not much coming out on the side, but they're looking pretty healthy. And I can see that we've got some good flowers coming in here as well, so they're looking pretty good. Happy about that. I'm gonna move those up onto the deck because the squirrels eat them. I hate those squirrels. Okay, so here we have a Cayman tomato, a Rutgers tomato, and a New Jersey Devil tomato. And I went with vertical planters this year for most of my herbs. As you can see, I didn't grow any of these. I failed miserably at growing from seed this year when it came to herbs, so that didn't happen. So we've got some different kinds of thyme and sage and mint and rosemary in that one. This is my plot of celery root. I think I only had 6 of these last year, and it was enough to make a really nice soup, but I wanted more than that. I love celery root. It's a great staple in the kitchen because it's good for anything you would normally use potatoes with, like a soup or a side dish. You can whip them just like you would potatoes. They're really, really good. So there are a couple blank boxes here that actually have basil. You can hear the kids running around in the background. There they go. See, small space gardening, I'm telling you. So we've got some oregano and parsley, good for cooking. And so hopefully that basil will come in nice and strong. But I planted 3 pots of basil this year. So we've got lots of tomatoes and eggplant here. So here we've got a black cherry tomato and a black cherry tomato. They looked really interesting. I was curious to try them. We have 2 Monica tomatoes. I got those because my niece's name is Monica, so it made me think of her. And we've got Cherokee purple. We've got 2 of them actually. There's another one right there. Cherokee purples, those are really nice. Valencia tomato, it's a nice kind of orange tomato. Indigo rose, these look really interesting too. Look how dark those leaves are. Really cool looking. I've got 2 of those. They look small, but I'm curious about them. Now we have some eggplant, another thing I love to cook with. So we have 2 pots here of classic eggplant, and behind it I grew these ones from seed. They're kind of small, but we'll see how they do. They're Black Beauty eggplant. So eggplant's great. Moving around here, everyone should thank us for putting in a standby generator because we haven't had a hurricane since we put it in. So I'm thankful for that. So we have sorrel. I wanted to try this year. I hear it's really, really hardy, hard to kill, which is nice to have something like that in the garden. And my tiny little cucumber. I think he was near death, but I felt sorry for him, so I planted him. It's a slicing cucumber. There's another pot of basil, hopefully. And we have a couple of yellow squash. I love squash and zucchini, so we've got a couple of squash here. And we've got a couple pots. I planted some seed for Swiss chard. I did that from transplants last year, so hopefully that'll work out better this year because I haven't tried it that way yet. So from seed. Then we have some lettuce. I grew these from seed and transplanted them. It's kind of hard to do that. It doesn't really work out as well, but they look pretty healthy. It's hard to know at this stage, but we'll see how they grow in. But some really interesting Lola Rosa, some butter crunch, some salad bowl lettuce, just a variety of things. And behind it we have white eggplant. I've never grown white eggplant, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I saw that at the garden club sale, so I couldn't resist it. And then here, nothing's come in yet. We have some carrots, some rainbow carrots behind it, and then some parsnips. And over there, that other one behind the bench, is sunflowers. Incorporating more flowers this year in the garden. Sunflowers, everything I'm growing with flowers is also edible. So sunflower seeds, and then I have some nasturtium and marigold planted in the beds as well. So a couple of small cucumbers here as well. If I have a pot with dirt in it, I have to fill it with something. So this bed, it's a 4x4. And it's about 10.5 inches high. And I have 2 zucchinis. I've got 4 ancho peppers, 2 super sweet tomatoes, a bunch of beets, Some I grew from seed, some I got at the plant sale. Again, I can't resist the plants there. Thank you, Maplewood Garden Club. And then we have 2 classic eggplant in front, and then a really small calliope eggplant. I grew that one from seed too. The eggplant came out pretty small that I grew, so we'll see how that does. And then here we have some more cucumbers. So I was going to plant the cucumbers towards the back, but I realized that they would be too close to tomatoes, and those aren't supposed to be very good together. So I put the cucumbers in the front. Some of them I'm doing by seed. Some of them are these Jackson cucumbers, which should be good for pickling. So I'm going to have to learn how to pickle if that's successful. And then we have a couple of white eggplant back there. And what else do we have? Yellowfin squash. So that's the yellow squash that'll come in, I hope. And we have some peas and a couple kinds of peas and a couple kinds of beans as well that I planted from seed directly. Last but not least are my potatoes. So I added 2 more sacks this year. Last year I had 3, actually I had 4 pots altogether, and I got about 15 pounds of potatoes from this. These are just aerated sacks. They work really well. They're easy to move around. As you can see, I'm trying to just keep them open, because what happens with these is you put the tubers in and then they sprout. And as they start to grow, you just keep adding more dirt and more dirt and more dirt, and they kind of just grow that way. So they'll fill out, but for now you just put a little bit at a time to do that. So hopefully we'll get some good potatoes this year. And that's about it. So that's the garden so far. I still have to put some supports in because before you know it, they're going to be pretty big. So we're going to make sure that they get the support, especially those tomatoes. We'll probably add some trellises in here as well for the beans and the squash and the peas. And the cucumber too. So we're going to need a lot of support over here. So we'll be check back and see how it grows.